as I said earlier, most of the upgrades took place had to do with My Dashboard. So we're going to jump right over to My Dashboard. We'll simply click on there, and the very first one we're going to talk about is on the Account Statistics tab, the very first tab on My Dashboard. What we want to kind of point out is we have added the cancel reason to the canceled grid. So now users can see easily why the accounts were canceled if you use that. Now, if you remember right, in the past, several weeks ago, we talked about the cancel reason. As a dealer admin, if you're a dealer administration user, you can go in and set up reasons for cancellations that you want your users to use whenever they cancel an account. And now what happens is when they cancel the account, that reason will show up here in this column. Now, you may not see that. It is hidden by default. So if it is hidden by default, you'll simply click the 6-dot domino, and you'll select you want to see the cancel reason. You can also hide certain columns if you don't want to see them. In this case here, you can see I have Service Company, Custom Value 2, and Custom Value 3 hidden. They don't show up in my grid. Okay, those are also admin functions that you can go into, or admin settings. So you can go into your administration personal settings and decide what columns you want to see every time. That way you don't have to go in each time and update this. Okay, so what am I talking about there? Let's just jump over to the administration real quickly, and we'll go to personal settings. Under default settings, on the last tab on administration, you'll see all the way to the far right. You're going to see the very first button right here is personal settings. And now I can go in here and I can set my dashboard. Click on here, and now here are all my settings. And we went over this a couple weeks ago as well, but now you can go in here and you can see your account statistics canceled columns. And now I can go ahead and decide what I want to see. And when I set these values on this page, that sets them permanently, so whenever I go back to that page, I don't have to click on that 6-dot domino. Okay, so you've got a lot of different settings in here. We're going to bounce back here a couple times today, but that's where you're going to go in and decide what columns you want to see and what you don't want to see on a consistent basis, so that way you don't have to update it each time you go to the page. Okay, so we're talking about the cancel reason. So this has been out there for a few weeks now, but I've had some dealers call me and ask me to walk them through it. So I'm going to take just a few seconds and just kind of walk you through what this cancel reason, how it works, how you can set it up if you're a dealer that wants to utilize this. So basically, we're going to jump right back over to the administration link, right? So we're going to click here, and under default settings, if you are a dealer admin user, so your function or your setting is dealer admin, you not only have personal settings, but you have administration group settings. And what you can do there is click on administration group settings. Here's your custom value fields that you can name, but here's your CS cancellation reasons. Okay, so if you're a dealer admin user, you can click on this right here, and now you can decide what you want to show up and what you want those reasons to be for cancellations. You simply click the pencil right here, and now you can add as many reasons as you want. Like I said, when I did a Compass chat a few weeks ago, I added all 6 of these right here. We can add something else. Let's say, will renew in 2021. Why not? Because 2020 is just not right, so they're not going to keep doing it. So now I hit add, right? So now I've got 7 reasons for cancellation. I realize that's not a real good reason, but I couldn't write the real reason of 2020. So we'll just say they'll renew in 2021. Okay, so you're going to type in here as many reasons that are applicable to your company. Okay, and you can just see some of them here. Cannot afford the payments. They moved out of the country. They moved out of the area. They didn't like the technician, so they canceled. Switched for a lower price. Just whatever you want to come up with, that's a consistent basis. And the nice thing about this is it's going to be a drop-down value for your Compass users to use when they go to cancel. So they're not just free typing anymore, and now you can run consistent reports off of that, and you can see the values more consistently in there. So we'll close that. Now, we want to add our new value in here, right? So we've got didn't like tech, and we got will renew. So now we've got all of these will show up in the drop down for our users when they go to cancel. The last thing you want to do is By default, if you go to it right now, you'll see that hide is selected. You'll want to go ahead and hit show. So when you get done with that, you've got all your reasons listed here in the box that are going to show up. You want to make sure the radio button is set to show, and then you simply click Save All Changes. So now what's that do? So let's pull up an account, and we're going to place it out of service and see what happens with it. So we'll just take this very first one. It's the Romeo account. He no longer needs his account, so we're going to go ahead and cancel him. So from the location page, you're going to cancel the account under the actions. Right here it says deactivate the account. Click the icon. And now the very first thing that pops up is this box that says cancellation reason. You're going to see the cancellation reason. There's your drop down. So it's going to force the user to select something from the drop down. Okay. So now I didn't like the technician. Now I can deactivate the account. And now it goes ahead and processes that, okay? If they do not select anything, it will not let them place the account out of service. So that's very important. You need to know that, if you want to use the cancellation reason, it's a really nice tool that some of our dealers really like already, but the users can't get around it. They have to select something, okay? So that's the cancellation reason. And if you go back to my dashboard, it's going to take it a few seconds for the dashboard to populate. But now you're going to see in a few minutes, Romeo is going to show up as a canceled account because he canceled the day, and the cancel reason is going to be there. So that's one of the new things we did, was add that cancel reason. The other thing we did was with reports, we added the cancel reason as a column to the add cancel report. So if I go to the reports, and a lot of dealers are using the add cancel report, just kind of so they can see more information than just the account statistics tab. But if I select accounts, add and cancel, and click open report, now if I run this report, let's just go back to June 1st, and we're going to select our canceled accounts. We're going to run the report. Now you'll see I've got my custom value fields are still there. Some of our dealers were using the custom value fields for the reasons. But as I said earlier, that's a free-form text. So all the users were typing in whatever they wanted to. So you weren't real consistent with what you saw there. Now I've got my new column, my cancel reason. And that's going to be whatever reasons I created as that dealer admin user. Okay, so now we've got that updated. We've got the cancel reason added to the add and cancel report. We've got the cancel reason added to the account statistics cancel grid. Okay, so that's the first thing we want to talk about today. So that's the cancel reason. If you need some help setting up the cancel reasons, if you're an admin dealer, or even if you're not an admin dealer right now and you want to get some of that help, or some of those reasons set up so your users have to use those, please contact our dealer support, and they can definitely walk you through that. You don't have to be an administration full-on user, but you have to have a dealer type of dealer admin. So they can work with you in getting that set up, and you can start utilizing those cancel reasons. Okay, so our next update that we want to talk about, this is one of the bigger ones that we had for this month, and it's the SMS status. Now, many of you probably recognize this tab. It used to be called the SMS exceptions. We have renamed it to SMS status because now we have everything on one single page. It's not showing just the exceptions, which the exceptions were showing just the stopped and pending contacts, but this is showing everything now. So this is status. So the first thing you'll notice is I don't have that little box or two buttons up here to go one page to the other page. Everything is on this one page. The location SMS contacts are located at the top. So you'll see the grid right up here, and you'll see in the first column it's stopped, pending, and accepted. Now, we've talked about it several times over the last 4 or 5 months, what stopped is, what pending is. Stopped is, that's a contact that has accepted the welcome message, and then for one reason or another, they click the stop link so they don't get any more alerts or messages. Okay, a pending contact is a contact that has not accepted the welcome message. As you all know, once you set them up for SMS, they get a welcome SMS contact or a message, and they have to accept that before they'll start receiving the SMS text messages. Okay, so they're pending. So you want to keep this pending rate really low. Obviously, you'd like to have it 0% if you possibly could. That means all of your contacts have accepted and they are receiving the SMS messages like they're supposed to be. So what this is showing is stopped. So I've got 7 contacts under my dealer number that are set up for SMS notifications. 14.29% of them have accepted, but then they stopped for one reason or another. Actually, just one single contact. So 1 out of 7 have stopped. Now I've got 28.57. 2 of my 7 have not accepted yet. They're pending. So I want to find out from those people why they haven't accepted yet. So real simple, what I can do is underneath the individual contact number, I can click that number too, and it brings up my detail page. So here are my pending location SMS contacts. It shows the last name, the first name of the contact. I've got the phone number, the start date, service company, and here's the account that they're on, the customer's name. Now, what I want to do is I want to give this to someone in my office, and I want to say, hey, call Anita and call Ricky and find out why they haven't accepted their welcome message. So I've got someone in my office. They make the phone call. Hey, we set you up for SMS notifications, but you haven't accepted. Just wondering, why, or if you still want to receive them. They're going to say one of two things. They're going to say, one, I never got it, which, that's fine. It's probably inaccurate, but that's fine. Or two, I accidentally deleted it because I didn't know what it was. Now I don't know what to do. Well, your person in your office at this point now can go out here to this end under actions, and they can resend that SMS notification welcome message. Real simple. You just click on the envelope, and it gets sent to that mobile number that's tied to them. Okay? And if you're lucky, you can do it while you're on the phone with this contact. Hey, I just went ahead and sent you the new welcome message. You're going to get that text message in just a second. Go ahead and click the link to say accept, and then you'll be good to go. And you can do it while you're right there on the phone. That's going to help clean up your pending contacts. Okay? Likewise, let's go back to summary. You can even do that with your stopped as well, because now I can click on the number 1 here, and I can see Joe someone is the one that stopped. And now I can call him up and I can say, hey, Joe, notice that you were getting SMS notifications from us, but you stopped. Did you do that on purpose? Could you give me a reason why you stopped? They're going to say a couple different things. Yeah, I was getting too many messages. B, I accidentally did it, but I don't know what to do. Okay, let me resend it to you again. And again, you can reactivate them from this page. So you can always have someone in your office kind of looking at the SMS status and working those 2 pages, the stopped and the pending, to kind of keep that cleaned up and kind of get that, what your goal is. If I've got 7 individual contacts set up, I really want my accepted to be 7. So I want this to be a 100% if I possibly could. Now this last column out here is count by location. So now I can see my pending. I've got 2, not just 2 contacts, but 2 locations that have pending contact. I can click that, and now I can see the accounts that have that. I can actually go to the accounts page and work it from there if I wanted to. But most of our dealers so far that we've already talked to are working it from the individual contact level. So again, you can just click on the numbers and that'll pull up that information. Now that's your location. So below that you have service companies. Okay, so we've been talking about SMS notifications aren't just for your customers, but they can be for your technicians and other people in your office. Best example I have is on-call people, right? So you might have an on-call telephone that gets passed around to whatever service technician is on call. And if you have that, that's great because you can set that on-call phone up to receive SMS messages on certain events. So in this case here, we've got a pending. So I've got this one set up. Let's see who we've got set up from the company. Well, it just so happens it's my on-call phone. So now I can go in here. There's my phone number. I can find out, why they haven't accepted it, who's got the phone in their hand right now, and I can get them to go ahead and accept that. So what's some of the things that you can do with the company side? Well, you can set this up for SRS, so sub-request service. So anytime one of our monitoring reps logs SRS, you can get a text message on that. Anytime an account is placed on test or an account clears test, you can get that. Authorities not responding, runaway signals. So you can set this up for your technicians to get this information. Runaways are really big, and SRS, sub-request service, are huge. I mean, if they can get an immediate notification as soon as that event happens on the event history table, that's really big, and they can respond to that much faster. So again, that's on the company level. And on the administration section, you can go in there and you'll have the company contacts. Remember, we saw that earlier when we covered some of the administration information. So we go to the administration, and on the 4th tab over, you'll see company contacts, and you click on company contacts, and then this is your company contact. So here's my on-call phone that's still pending, right? So what are they getting information on? Well, runaway signals, like I talked about, and service requests. So that's what they're supposed to be getting, but they haven't accepted yet. So I've got to find that phone and get them to accept that, so they'll start receiving those text messages on those events. Okay, so that's your SMS update that we're doing now. So again, it's SMS status, not SMS exceptions anymore. And again, I think it's really going to clean that up a little bit, make it easier for the users to kind of see where they stand. And again, you want this number right here, this percentage of total contacts accepted. You want to shoot for that goal of 100% or as close as you possibly can on there. That means everyone you're setting up for SMS notifications are getting those SMS messages. Okay, so the next thing, if you have an astute eye, or if you don't, you may have already seen this, but we have a tab that's no longer here. So we got rid of the alerts tab that used to be up here, and we also got rid of the little red box that popped up in the corner. We got a lot of feedback from dealers. Not a lot of people were clicking on the little pink box to get rid of it. So we just decided we didn't really need the tab up there anymore, and we don't need the box anymore. Now, I will tell you this. If you had unread alerts before we did our upgrade last week, that pink box is probably still popping up for you. Okay, so you need to click on that in order to and read those messages to clear that out. Once you clear it out now, it'll be gone. Okay, so like right now, I've got unread messages, but I don't have the red box popping up in my corner. So how do you know if you have an unread alert? Well, we've got a little envelope up here by your username in the top right-hand corner. If it's red and has a little piece of paper coming out of the opened envelope, that means I have unread messages. Okay, so all I have to do is click on that envelope. I can see, this is a test to see if the red box still shows up. It doesn't. If I click on that, it tells me the full alert. Now all I got to do is close that. Now it's red, it's gone, so all my unread messages are cleaned up, and you'll notice that my envelope now is just a closed gray envelope. Okay, so that's an indicator that I have no unread messages. That's nice to know. Again, just what do we use the alerts for? We basically use them for notifications of dealer support hours during holiday times. Also, we might use them for storm procedures. If we're going to be doing anything special, like coming up in this coming week, we might be doing some special things for the Houston, Texas area, for hurricane procedures and that type of thing. So we would use the alerts for that. So if you're in an affected area and you see this change to an opened envelope with the red paper coming out of it, you might want to pay attention to that, click on that, and see if there's anything that you need to do or be aware of. Okay, so that's the alerts. The next thing we did was, again, this is try to make it a little bit easier, but we went to the heads-up display, and as many of you know, we've got the missed timer widget on here, and basically what we did is we added a legend right here to kind of define what you're looking at. Now, this is your goal, right? So I'm a good dealer. I have no accounts that have missed timers. That's a very good thing. So your goal is to see this no items to display right here. But in reality, most of us don't have that. So we had the daily, weekly, and monthly already set up on here. So these are all of my accounts that are set up to send a daily timer test, a weekly timer test, or a monthly timer test. Okay, what we didn't have was in the parentheses right here. So we weren't telling you what that really meant. So what this says is my dailies, this is 7 days since its last timer test. Okay, so that's how it shows up on this account. So any daily timer account that's gone 7 consecutive days without a timer test is going to show up on this map or this widget. My weeklies are 14 days. So essentially that means that I've missed 2 missed timer tests, right? So if I've got this set up for a weekly timer test and it's missed 14 days in a row, I've essentially missed 2 timer tests. Likewise with monthly, we've got it set to 90 right now, so that would essentially be telling you it's missed 3 consecutive missed timers, okay? So that's what that's telling you right now. So 7 days for a daily, 14 for weekly, 90 for monthly. These are just defaulted by CMS, okay? So you can actually change these values if you want. Like, for example, if you're a heavy fire guy, you may not want to wait 7 days in a row for your fire accounts to miss timer tests before they show up, right? So now you can go over here to administration. Like I said earlier, we're going to bounce back and forth to the administration tab quite a bit. So if you go to administration, you go to default settings again. We're going to go to my dashboard. And under my dashboard, we're going to scroll all the way down towards the bottom and we're going to see the heads-up display. Here's my heads-up widgets. These are the ones that I'm going to be looking at. And now you can see there's my days since my last timer. So if I don't want to wait 7, let's just say 3 is enough for me. I can change that value to 3. And let's say that maybe I don't want this to be 90, I want it to be 60. You know, if I miss 1 monthly timer test, maybe not a big deal, maybe just a hiccup. But if I miss 2, I want to kind of pay attention to that. So I want it to show up if it misses 2. So I'm going to change that to 60. 14 days for weekly, I can leave that alone because again, that would be 2 missed timers. So I can update those values right here from the CMS default. Make sure you scroll down to the bottom, hit your Save All Changes, hit your OK. And now if we go back to my dashboard, we're going to click on Heads Up. And now you'll see our legend has updated. So 3 days here, 14 days, 60 days, still no items to display. So, you know, I'm doing everything right. So that's a great day when this is blank. So there's an update to the widget for the missed timers on the heads up. Okay. Last but not least on my dashboard, the repeat activity and the fire activity. These 2 tabs used to have what we call the wrong number widget, right? If you've been to this tab or the fire activity tab, you remember seeing down here in the bottom, wrong numbers. Okay, we removed it from these 2 tabs because we're adding it to a new tab that's going to be available probably in the next 2 weeks. We have 2 new tabs that are going to be on the dashboard, one called Dialed Numbers and one called OHAs. The wrong numbers are going to be on the Dialed Numbers tab, which is where they belong, right? Because wrong numbers shouldn't be on the repeat activity or fire activity because they're not truly activity. They're not signals that are coming in. It's phone numbers that our monitoring reps are dialing and encountering wrong phone numbers. So a new tab is going to be coming in the next couple weeks. It's going to be called Dialed Numbers. Those widgets, that wrong number widget will be on that tab. Okay, and it's just going to be one single widget. So we're combining the repeat activity and the fire activity wrong number widgets into one single widget on the Dialed Numbers. Again, keep your eyes open for those 2 new tabs. It's going to be a couple weeks. We are going to have another Compass chat session just specifically for those 2 tabs because there's a lot of really good information on those 2 tabs. So like I said, that's going to be coming in the next couple weeks. If you're a dealer that does track your wrong phone numbers, which is great if you do, and you are relying on those widgets, we can run reports, or you can run a report in Compass to get that wrong number information. Contact dealer support, and they can definitely help you set up a scheduled report just for the next couple weeks so that you can kind of track those wrong phone numbers. Real simple event history report looking for the wrong number event IDs, and they'll help you out with that. And again, you can use that for the next couple weeks until we get the new tabs on here. Okay, so that's the updates we did to the dashboard. Last but not least was one other update we did to My Alarms. Several weeks ago, we talked about a very new feature that we've added to My Alarms for your customers, and that's the self-registration tab or link. So now your customers can go to myalarms.com if you give them that email or that address, and they can create their own My Alarms user login. Okay, basically what we wanted to do is try to help out the dealers so they didn't have to contact every single one of their customers to get them all set up for My Alarms. My Alarms is a great tool for customers to use both commercially and residentially. But what we found was we have another website. It's called mymonitorstation.com. Not all dealers know about it. It's an older website, what we call a legacy website. But some of our dealers still use that, mymonitorstation.com, for their customers to log in and look at their account information and look at event history. It's a very simplified website, but like I said, it's kind of antiquated and it needed some updating. And instead of spending our resources to update that website, we're actually going to sunset mymonitorstation.com in the coming months, and we're going to have everyone come over to myalarms.com. So we want to make myalarms.com exactly like mymonitorstation.com as far as what information is available, what the customers need to do to get in there. And one of the things we found was on mymonitorstation.com was commercial users, commercial accounts, commercial fire, NFPA fire, basically anything that wasn't a residential account. those users on mymonitorstation.com could not see the code words and could not see contact pins. That's kind of an important thing. So they were protecting them from seeing any kind of passwords on the account. So what we've done as far as an update to the self-registration is if a customer goes in here and they click the new user and they start to create their own login for My Alarms, the system will be able to tell what type of account it is when they create it. And if it is a commercial account, commercial fire, anything other than a residential, when they log in to My Alarms, they will not be able to see the code words to the account, or they will not be able to see the contact pins. So it's going to act just like, the self-registration is going to act just like it does on mymonitorstation.com. Okay, now you may have some customers that say, you know, I'm the security agent for this company, I need to be able to see the passcodes, and that's fine. We can always update the permission roles after the fact. But in the interim, at the early stages of them creating their own login, we wanted to make it just like mymonitorstation.com where they could not see that information. Okay, so that's really important to know. So if you're a dealer that's using mymonitorstation.com or your customers are using mymonitorstation.com, just know that you want to kind of start using My Alarms and getting them to get set up for that. All the information is there just like it is on mymonitorstation.com. They can see their open and close report. They have a very simple way to pull the open and close report. They can see their location activity. They can see all their account information just like they can on the other website. But we want to get them using myalarms.com versus mymonitorstation.com, which will be going away soon. So that's going to wrap up. That was our August update. Like I said, there wasn't a ton of things, but there are some nice things that should help out users quite a bit.